Hello everyone, welcome back. We are back here in this space, or possibly here for the first time, because I don't know what order these videos are going to go up in, but we're here in
Good to see you!
Yeah, it's good to
for
see
the
you.
first...
They
Good to see you again, or for the very first time.
Perhaps you're watching several videos in a row. Perhaps it's the first one. We don't know. But we are here to chat about some Blinks games, and specifically one of... How close is this to being the first Blinks game?
This was the first Blinks game that made me go, whoa.
Okay.
This is something that smart tabletop games can do.
Sure.
That no other game... Like, I'd seen games for Blinks be made and had ideas for them that were like, okay, that's cool, but maybe you could use cardboard.
Right.
And then this game was, like, dreamed up out of what couldn't you do?
What can only Blinks do?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Mortals. If you're watching and you have Blinks, you probably know Mortals. It's one of the classic Blinks games. Yeah, we'll show it to the camera.
There we go.
Mortals. And what I thought would be fun is, we could play a quick game of Mortals so people can see what it actually looks like in its published state. And then, if you're noticing these strange objects over here, it's because we have some old builds from the GitHub of before Mortals looked like this, or before Mortals acted like this, and we're going to look back at the history of Mortals and see how we arrived at the game that we have now. So a fun little retrospective, but you want to try and play one. I have not played Mortals in so long. We're at a bad table for this, but it's going to be fun.
All right.
I'll be purple.
You start us off, because I feel like I'm well practiced. It's a double click to start the game.
I'm sorry, I have not done this in a while. All right, ready?
Okay.
So eagle-eyed viewers will see, these...
Ooh, trapped on all sides. I can't... How did you manage to do that?
Pieces.
I know, but I can't believe...
I've tricked you.
That was... Okay. I'm going to trap that guy in. Okay. Let's see what I can do here. Oof.
Oh no, oh no.
Okay. Oh, wow. So... Oh, wow.
I got you. Oh no, oh no.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Just
All right,
barely. Just barely.
So, yeah, that was Mortals. We didn't have time to explain what we were doing, but we were, moving the Blinks around. Oh, there's where they all ended up. We were moving the Blinks around and stealing life. You'll see those little red attacks where they steal life. You'll also notice that, everyone starts with a minute of life. You steal 5 seconds at a time. You'll see this little countdown timer on these. These only have 30 seconds left, while these have about 50, and this guy has over 60 at this point because of all the stealing. Really fun game. Not something you couldn't do on a video game, something you couldn't do on a board game. It's only a smart tabletop game. But it did not arrive in the world looking and behaving exactly like this.
No.
Yeah.
So, and it's the first night that this game was proposed. Nick Bentley was visiting my apartment in New York, and we were up. We had just played a game of Battle Line.
I want to interrupt you. There's zombies. When
Oh,
something
the
is dead, it
zombies.
steals from people. This will come up later. Keep going about the story.
Yeah, so Nick Bentley was staying over at my apartment. We had just started work on Blinks, and we had just finished a game of Battle Line. So we were up playing Battle Line. It's a game by wonderful, famous abstract game designer. I believe it's not a Reiner Knizia game, but it's a...
I'm unfamiliar with it, so if you don't summon this, we're not...
If I don't, I'm going to have to cut this part out of the video.
Or I will put a citation at the bottom, because I'll have Googled it.
Maybe it's a Reiner Knizia game.
We're going to find out.
It's probably Reiner Knizia.
We're going to find out when I edit this and Google it.
Battle Line is definitely Reiner Knizia.
Okay,
He's
great.
made over like 700 games, it's...
Yeah.
So either way, we had just played that game, and I was like waxing on how much I love pure abstracts. And Mortals, Yeah, so this game came out of a game I think called Tamsk, played with sand timers, and it never really worked because you needed to have like a bunch of sand timers, and it just is difficult to read the legibility.
And as I've said in other videos about sand timers, part of the desire to put the timer function in widgets was because all the sand timers I've ever owned in my life at some point get moisture in them and stop working entirely.
That's a problem I didn't actually think about, but you're absolutely right.
Every game of Pictionary or Trivial Pursuit, anything that came with a sand timer, Boggle, always stops working.
It sounds like an East Coast problem. In Los Angeles, there was never enough moisture.
It might be an East Coast problem.
So, but with Mortals, the first night we played, I made this very early prototype where there was only a single glowing light on each blink.
Well, at the time, blinks only had one light.
They only had one light. And the way you knew how much life you had was, I think it started by saying how bright it was.
Well, while you're talking about that, I want to do something. I'm going to put a build from the old GitHub on here, and we're going to keep telling your story.
And so, how much life you had correlated with how bright it was. And then I had this idea that, okay, maybe it's how fast it's breathing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so closer to death, it becomes more hyperventilating.
Yeah.
But so we started to play this very basic version of the game, and it was really fun. Like, I think I lost my first two, but I was like, I feel like it's close, and I feel like there's strategy here. I feel like I can do better. And so we played, we stayed up till like 4 a.m. Playing this version of the game, and it just, we really wanted this to be a game on the system, but it felt too, we had worked out in like PowerPoint how the game would work out from a balance standpoint, and we couldn't figure out how to balance the game. Once you got really far ahead, it was just like, nah, you're
just winning.
You're making the rich richer.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And that's the hyperventilating, and then it's like, I'm really close to death. Although you don't know exactly.
You don't know exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one just died, and then I think these are on their way, and these two are apparently doing great.
That's they're and I can see they kind of go from like
they dim. This one's medium breathing. Yeah. So this is a build from early on in the. I think I pulled this is like the 5th commit to the repo. There's very little to this one. It does have the stealing and all that.
Yeah, I think this was the version of the game when the Kickstarter launched.
Yeah.
Like, the very first Kickstarter for Blinks.
Also, you can change team color mid-game. The team color function is not locked out of the game mode. So you can just change team color in the middle of a game.
That's pretty useful if you're losing really badly.
And you're a cheater, yeah.
Growing up, I feel like that was my best strategy for chess.
This one just won't die.
When nobody's looking, I would just spin the board.
Yeah, and suddenly, wasn't I playing white?
No. You were definitely black from the start.
Yeah. So this is I don't know how to reset this without starting the game. I don't know the button presses of this version. But there's something. But yeah, this also had 4 colors because it seemed like at the time there was this idea that this might be a 2 to 4 player game.
Yeah, I figured, you're going into battle. Who knows how many players you want?
Yeah.
And, I think it became, once we play tested it with multiple people, it was pretty tough to watch time pass while
2 or 3 other people.
Yeah. And so, like, in Fracture, while you could kind of, like, with 4 players, you're kind of, okay, you have an alliance. But, in Mortals, it was just like, wow, it's been 20 seconds since I moved. All my players are dead.
Yeah. And so this was the version of the game that existed for a while, and then I'm going to install this version 2, which I will say is Oh, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Yeah, can I try something with this?
Yeah.
So
I don't know how to reset them.
That's what I actually want to try. So if I can change team.
Yeah.
Let's see. So these ones, so if I double click. Oh, right. That's what you're saying. You don't know how to reset.
I don't know how to reset these.
So I believe, let's see. We're going to let these 2 kill each other off real quickly.
This one's also dead. Oh wait, no, we can't use that one. Oops.
And we can't speed up death.
No, not with 2. It's irrelevant, yeah.
Okay. However, I think in this version, it still wasn't checking, like, there was an imbalance of where the steel was. In the shipping version of Mortals, when a blink attaches, even if it attaches a half a second later to one side, it only attacks once. And there's always this transfer of time. Okay, so we're going to see if this... I have a feeling...
Maybe a single click? There is a setup mode. I've witnessed it in this version. But this also predates my involvement with the company.
That's right.
So
Which is probably why it doesn't work.
That starts the game. They're playing.
Oh,
Double click, they're just playing.
Okay, so interesting. So there was a version of the game where when you'd hold them like this, when you'd hold them, this is not...
Just changes color.
Huh.
Yeah, we can try this version. So this is from maybe a year-ish later, and this is from when I was a summer intern at Move 38. And I'll be honest, Mortals at the time, sort of the interns had taken, were sort of working on various games in the sort of the first 12, but Mortals was not one that I was working on.
Yeah, so we had the first Move 38 internship was after our first Kickstarter. We had this wildly successful Kickstarter. There were only 2 games that were in a pretty close spot, Mortals and Fracture, and then there was a long list of others.
Yeah.
And
others that were pretty close. I would say that probably even when I joined, Barry was basically good.
Right.
Yeah. And Flick Flop, okay, never mind. Let's say it was those 3.
So, but Mortals was one that was like, okay, well, this is a good project of like, the game doesn't have the right balance.
Yep.
We need something to help the person behind catch up.
Yeah, and so 2 of the interns, Justin and June, who I believe they went to college together, right?
Yep.
They were going to NYU together. They really dug into this a lot. I mean, they were playing this all the time here in the office. They were playing it at home. And they came up with some really wild ideas that really changed the way the game worked, and in doing so, made it work.
Yeah, I thought this was awesome because, number one, the solution they came up with was on theme. And the other thing that I thought was really neat was that this game was a suspense game, but at the end of the game, previously, there was just so many dead bodies on the board that it was like, it's...
Kind of slow.
Kind of slow at the end. It started out feeling fast.
Yeah, so the game de-escalated, which generally you don't want to do.
Right. And so this did 2 of those things. They gave a...
What have I done?
you need one more...
No, I couldn't. I was trying to let it die by itself.
Uh-huh.
This still lets you change teams mid-game. That eventually... I think that was one of the things
Probably
that
the
I
last
changed.
thing we fix.
I'll let these just die, I think.
Okay.
They're also dying weirdly fast.
And
then I think it's triple click. I'm going to try it. Nope. Gonna let this die and then we're gonna see. Don't double click it. I think it's double click.
Okay.
I was wrong. Anyway, keep going with what they were working on.
Yeah. So Justin came in with, and I know Justin and June were working on this. Justin came in and said, "Okay, try this out. I just added zombies to the game."
Yeah.
And it was like, "Oh, well, that's cool. Okay, how do zombies work?" And Justin said, well, zombies, after you kill a player, they are going to suck life from their neighbors. It was like, okay, do they suck life once when they die? Or what do they do? And it was like, they're going to continually drain life. And so the first time we saw zombies, the moment you were next to a zombie, it was like, you're dead.
Right, which actually is what's happening. Earlier when I was like, these are dying really fast, it's because the zombie mechanic is in here right now.
And it's so aggressive that it's just like, the moment you're next to zombies, you're dead.
Yep.
And so I think we workshopped it that day, and it was like, okay, how about we scale how much you die based
Yeah.
on how many zombies you're next to, and really backed it off. And then you also needed to see that a zombie is sucking life.
Right.
So-
which is, at this point, I don't have a version between this and the end, but
Yeah.
two major things happened. So, like in the first version where the attacks have animations, which I think are accidentally missing from this.
Oh, okay.
Two things we added. One is that zombies need animations, just like attacks. You need to know that like this is what's stealing. Like, because in this version, the zombies do work great to rebalance the game, but it's totally incomprehensible to me. I was like, now it's flashing. And then the thing I remember the most is we went to PAX Unplugged in 2000.
Probably 2018.
Yeah, it would have been 2018, end of 2018. The internship had ended. I had stuck around to finish the sort of the 12 starting games. And we went to PAX Unplugged and we played Mortals with people. And specifically, John and I just played Mortals a bunch at the free play tables. It's the entire like back half of PAX Unplugged if you've ever been to it. It's just a bunch of tables for playing games.
We had
Nothing
like
else.
just finished playing Root.
Yeah.
And we're like,
Let's
let's
play
play some Mortals.
And something Mortals was a game that I didn't like. I straight up was like, I don't really like Mortals. And John was curious why, and I was like, I just never know if I'm succeeding. And so I'm going to reinstall actual published Mortals.
Okay.
I'm going to give myself a chance at succeeding. And one of the things that we added, that if you've played Mortals, you know, is that they don't have that breathing thing anymore, which is really interesting, but does not give you actual information. We just added a countdown timer.
Yep.
Just 6 faces is 60 seconds, 1 face is 10 seconds. That's what you got. And instantaneous. I mean, John, you did this on your laptop at a table between presentations.
That's right.
It wasn't like we took some notes and went home. You just took the code you had, and you were like, I can make a pinwheel out of this. And now the game gives you this. I'm gonna see if I can kill these real quick.
I
But
actually
yeah.
think it was a good opportunity to just show like a time lapse.
Yeah. We'll let this run. But yeah, you'll see that they run down like that, and when you see the first one die, you will see its sort of zombie attack animation. Yeah, and that really changed it for me. Took Mortals from a game that I was, I just wasn't for me, to a game that was like, oh, I get it. This is fun and interesting, and I can make decisions intelligently. And I instantly got better. Like, literally, you made that change, and I won the next game. A game I had never won.
Right.
Because suddenly I could see it. Yeah, there's the attack, which was missing from that old build, but is in this one.
And I like also that this is going to kind of show, like, this piece was way ahead. It was, you just were stealing a bunch of life with
Right.
it. But then, like, it almost dies as quickly as...
Yeah, because it's touching 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was such a blast because, like, not only did I have somebody else I could play Mortals with, but, like, I remember we were hanging out at the Kickstarter booth, and the head of Kickstarter games for Europe, we went out for drinks, and, like, we workshopped this game together.
Yeah. And then John changed some more stuff, and it was really great. And it was for me, it was fun because this game existed before I joined Move 38. You know, a lot of the games at this point, almost all of the games, I had some hand in, if not a huge hand in. But this one was one that, like, I didn't understand. It predated me. I kind of was taking John's word for it that it was fun. And then once that change got made, I was like, oh, I get it. It's fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting sort of look down memory lane. I think if we do this in the future, I'll try and find some builds of things that look a little different. I know Mortals kind of looked the same for a lot of its history. But it's cool to see, and it's cool to remember that Blinks used to have one light.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really strange.
Yeah, this game, and maybe you'll see some others. I mean, it's, I think, clear some of the games that only use
Color.
color.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you found this interesting. We will see you again next week, and I don't know, like, subscribe, comment, YouTube things, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.